Welcome back to Mobile Rolling. This is the second part of our interview with Bob Holton, and we've talked a fair bit about Bob and getting to Adelaide and his light shop and now getting more involved in the thoroughbreds. So Bob, with the thoroughbreds, you said you had a couple at Port Augusta when you was in Whyalla. You came to Adelaide. What got you to actually say, well, I'm really interested in this?
Yeah, well, I started off with a horse with Gordon Richards, a horse called
next
Tessie.
Port Lincoln.
Yeah,
Gordon?
that's right.
Yeah.
And I've still got horses with Gordon, and that's some 10 or 15 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just gradually got into others. Belfast Boy was our best one probably in those days. It won 3 down the straight at Flemington.
Mm-hmm.
And we had some other good ones.
In those days, so how long ago was that? 15, 12
Belfast Boy was probably, you're testing me a bit here, about 40 years ago.
40?
No, not that long, sorry. So about 20 years
20 years ago.
Yeah.
So in those days, what was a race in Flemington worth, like 20 grand?
Oh, no, it was about $65,000
Really?
race, so 30 odd to the winner. And he was also the Vic Bred or whatever it was at that time.
Vobis
So you got a bonus.
So what would those horse like? What would a race like that be worth today? Just the same
about
race?
130.
So it hasn't increased that much, really. Might have
Well,
doubled.
it's probably doubled over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
It happened. Most of it happened in recent times when
Yeah.
they got more money out of the corporate bookmakers and things like that.
So, with your involvement, obviously in Whyalla and then coming down here, what made you decide to go? I want to be. Obviously, you're a member of the Jockey Club, and you decided that you wanted to go on the committee. What was that for?
Well, it started with Leon McDonald tried to talk me into it after I gave bookmaking away.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought,
when did you give the bookmaking away? 2005?
11. 2005, you're right. It was the shop I sold in 11. Yes, and I thought about it. And then eventually someone else said to me, you may as well have a crack. So in 2015, I got onto the board, and it's a 9-year tenure. So I had to win 2 more elections.
So it's a 3 by 3 by 3
years, yeah. So, and I got voted back in both times.
So you've been the chair
for 4 years. I started, this is my final year on the board. So I decided for this year I'd step down from chairman and just help the new chairman, and that's been working well. So I was chairman for 4 years.
So sorry, when you were first there, who was the chair?
Good question. I think it was Alan Burchard.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was Alan. Then Bodell Francis,
Yeah.
and then I took over from.
So you like with whether it be the trots, the gallops, or the dogs, we've had a pretty tumultuous last, say, 12 years with POC taxes and tracks being closed, and you know, like basically it's Morphettville. There's no Cheltenham. There's no Victoria Park. You know, when they get a tax board in, it's, you know, the money's not going back to where it's coming from. It's going to other areas to service.
Going to government. The corporate bookmakers pay GST on their gross profit. So they say the gross profit, GST is included in the gross profit, so it's 9.1%. Right? So they pay that. Then they pay the point of consumption tax, which is another.
It started at about 10, didn't it? Now 15, is it?
It's 15.
It was
always 15.
I reckon
other states started. You might be right. I can't remember, but it's 15. And
so, how much would they be getting out of that? Just, digressing a bit.
The government. It's around about 60 million.
And what would they be giving back to the codes?
20%. 20% goes back to the industry in total. It's the lowest in Australia.
So where does it go to?
Well, it goes to the various what we call principal racing authorities. So
but where does the rest of it go?
The government.
What do they do with it?
I won't say waste. They use it.
Use it in other areas. Services.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So with your and I've been on a board. I'm not here to say that I'm great because I've been on a board, but people don't understand. You wouldn't have been able to run the light shop and be the chairman of SAJC.
No,
you would be spending at least 70 hours a fortnight minimum.
Yeah, well, it was more than half the week, which by the time you add everything in. And you really have to be retired or have someone else being able to do a lot of what you would normally do, because it's a big job, time consuming, and there's lots of little things come up at the drop of a hat. like the CEO, CFO might say, I need something signed. So you get in the car,
and things like, if you're going to go to, like if there is a big meeting on in Melbourne, whether it be the Cup or there's races here, you are expected to be there, even if it's something on in Melbourne and that an invitation is given. The other members from the other states and the people in Melbourne want to see the chairman of those principal clubs. And people think it's just a holiday, but it's not. Because half the time you've got to be on your wits, because a lot of the time you're discussing business when it's in a social atmosphere.
No, as chairman, you get invited to all of those. You can't always go. If there's something in Adelaide on, then you just let them know, I'm sorry, I've got
something else on.
And they accept that. That's not a problem. Same thing if we invite them. For example, I'm going to Caulfield this weekend.
Yeah, Caulfield Cup.
That's my last hurrah. That's the last invitation.
Well. So with the gallops and that, and you've seen changes, and I think the biggest changes are the corporates coming in and Sky Channel, because if I've got a horse running at Globe Derby, unless it's a $1.20 favourite in a $100,000 race, I've got to drive from Kangaroo to there, spend some time with the horse before and after the race and come home again. It's basically 2.5 to 3 hours gone. So these day and age, you pick your phone up, you watch it, you can watch it and see it go around, then go back, do your work.
Racing.com has been a big plus. Because that means you can do that, watch it on your phone. Sky Channel have got the same thing. But if you just want to watch South Australian racing, then racing.com is very good.
So you've sort of done everything. What horses have you got at them? Have you got any at the moment? Are they with Gordon Richards or other trainers?
Yeah, no, a couple of different trainers. Probably the best of them at the moment is Tap In for Par, that's with Gordon. We've got a horse called Swico with Michael Hickmott. And that looks like it's probably going to go to Melbourne in Cup Week for one of the minor races.
Well, they got a pretty good strike rate of the South Australian horses going to Melbourne.
Richard Jolly's a genius.
So he's done a pretty good job, and Clarkin's horse, I think, won the other day.
We don't have a lot of really good horses, but the ones that are good enough can go over there and be competitive.
Are competitive. So what's your thoughts overall on the state of, well, I can't really get you to comment on harness racing, but you would notice the difference between in your heyday with 12 or 14 bookmakers a whaler to no track, and no like a Gawler and Globe Derby at its top, pardon me, 18 or 20 bookmakers to none. How do you think the horse codes, the gallops and the trots are going, and how do you think the future is going forward?
No, it's a good question. Well, harness racing, as we all know, was in dire straits a couple of years ago, flat out getting fields. Well, we've got to give credit to Dean Elliott and the board of Harness Racing SA. We're now getting full fields, 9, 10 races, 2 or 3 meetings a week.
Well, people won't bet on 5 horse fields.
No.
And this is what's happened in Victoria. They just put on races for 5 and 6 horses. And when you've got a $1.20 favourite in it, just put a line through it. So eventually, if you see 4 or 5 of those on one program, you just say, well, I'm not betting on there tonight. You put a line through it.
You've got to have fields of at least 8 each way. That's what people want. So the dogs are a perfect example of how that's not working. They are flat out getting fields.
Full fields,
And people just don't bet on them.
And that's what I think they're sort of modelling it a bit on the England one, where they only have 4 or 5 runners in a race. So.
And greyhound turnover, it's well known that that's fallen away. The trots have improved. Well, if you put on more races, you're going to improve your stake money, your turnover, but you've got to make sure that it covers.
It covers the cost of putting them on. So what about the gallops? How are they going?
Right, well, gallops.
Things were a bit ordinary about 4 or 5 years ago.
People would notice that Vaughan Lynch, who's the CEO of Racing SA, is about to move to Victoria. He and the board there have done a really good job the last few years, getting our stake money up, partly because of our contribution from the point of consumption tax and the corporate bookies. Because about 90% of the revenue that comes into Racing SA comes from wagering. So if wagering goes down, the revenue goes down.
And that's heavily reliant upon the media and who it gets out to and how they bet.
And racing.com is a help there, because people can see them. They can see interviews after. Generally, racing is going okay. The SAJC is going very well, because we've had the money from Cheltenham. We've started to spend that instead of sitting there doing nothing, 50 million. So we're starting to do things. We're redoing the second floor, which is a members floor at Morphettville, spending 5 million, bringing that up to 21st century. And there's a lot of other things. We've got a housing project that people may be aware of, our excess land at Moorfield is being redeveloped as a housing and hotel. And
Oh, that's good.
yeah, and that's worth 40 million to us by the time it's finished. So that's a big help. So the club is going well. We've just got our sponsorship deal with Sportsbet. That's worth about nearly 3 million, or a bit over 3 million a year. Not just cash, but also infrastructure stuff.
Yeah.
So that's been good. So, and we've got an excellent CEO in Grant Mayer who has got the courage and the initiative and the foresight to do things. We're not interested in sitting on our hands.
No, well, you can't, because it's more than just putting horses out onto a track.
Yeah. So generally, the biggest headache, and I know they're well aware of it, is that the wagering is falling. The turnover in wagering is falling, and that has a direct effect.
I especially think, you know, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to think that the economy in Australia is going that well at the moment. People say it's not in recession, but if it's not, it's pretty close. So
it's in
the first thing that suffers, of course, is your little extras, including having a bet. So,
yeah,
but
that's part of it. But also, there's a lot of negative talk about wagering from governments and so on. That's not helping either.
No, and that's where we get back to the POC tax and where that's going. It's going into some of those areas that think we shouldn't have a horse.
Talking about that, we get 20% into the industry. That's to be shared by all three codes. Whereas in the lowest elsewhere is 33% in New South Wales. So we're a long way.
They would be getting huge amounts. But, well, I think we've just about covered everything. We've saved the world.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you're in remarkable condition for your age, so you've done well. And hopefully
a good clean life.
Exactly. Hopefully you have a bit of success over at Caulfield.
Yeah,
and hopefully we see you in the winner's circle.
Good.
Thanks a lot, Bob.
Thanks very much.
Thanks. That's good.